Thank you. All right. All right. We are, although we're live, I believe we're live now. Okay. We are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, our first collaboration. This is Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry, Tap Into You, a Help to Heal Foundation, and the family Tap Into You Peace Partner Movement. We are so here. This is the first collaboration. I'm Dr. Anita C. Powell, and it is my honor, it is my privilege to be sharing this space with so many beautiful, beautiful energies. And energies, when I mean both he and she. We have Empowerment Through Spoken Word ambassadors, board members, ambassadors in the house, and we have Tap Into You Peace Partners, and of course, we have our Vice President, who is also in the house, Michelle Brown. This is so again. Thank you. I want to thank Latasha. She is on her way. I want to thank Latasha for Ramsey Cyprian. She is our USA Tap Into You Peace Partner, as well as the sister that organized this conference. I want to shout out to her. She did all of our flyers. So the flyers that you guys, our eminent speakers and the audience, those who were able to view all those beautiful flyers with the bios, it was Latasha that created those. I want to I want to invite you. I want to invite you, all of you who are looking here. I want to invite you to join us with that the Tap Into You Peace Partner, or either the ESW Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry, a Help to Heal Foundation. We invite you, we embrace you, we love you. If you'd like to join our family, please contact me at eswpglobal@gmail.com. That's eswpglobal@gmail.com. Wanted to share that with you. You are certainly welcome. All right, so before we get started, I want to give just a history on the Declaration of Human Rights, or even before then, okay? Now, the Declaration of the Human Rights briefly was adopted December 10th, 1948, and this was by the United Nations, 5 countries: France, China, Britain, Soviet Union, and USA. And what happened was, it was after World War II. That's a tongue twister for me. After World War II, welcome, Dr. Shapressa, Professor. After World War II, then so many people died. Tens of millions of people lost their lives in this war. And these 5 major countries got together and said, hey, what can we do to try to maintain peace? What can we do so this never happens again? And what they did, they began a committee, and they began forming rights. And this committee, Eleanor Roosevelt, the president's wife, back in 1948, they created these 30 articles, and it was adopted again December 10th, 1948. Now, prior to that, this was the first written of 30 articles that had come, that had became Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Prior to that, it started as was the earliest record is 539 BC, King Cyrus. King Cyrus, the king of Babylon, after he defeated Babylon, he said, okay, enough of this fighting, enough of this war. So what he did, he freed slaves. He also gave them to proclaim that, hey, you can practice and believe in whatever religion you want to do. And he created, it's called the Cyrus cylinder. He created human rights on a clay cylinder. After that, 1215, we have the Magna Carta. This was when they wrote the new rights for people and that the king was accountable to law. In 1628, there was the Petition of Right. This was setting out the rights for the people. 1776, we know the United States Declaration of Independence. That's when it started proclaiming life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All right, in 1787, that was the United States of the Constitution of the United States of America, where it was formed that the fundamental law of federal system of government defined the rights of citizens. 1789, the Declaration of Rights of Man and of Citizen, that was from France. And that's when they established that citizens were equal in the eyes of the law. In 1791, the U.S. Bill of Rights, that was limiting the powers of federal. At that time, they started limiting and honing in on the federal government, and then protecting the rights of all citizens, residents, and visitors of the U.S. territory. 1864 was the first Geneva Convention. And then in 1948, we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This was the first charter, I might say promise, proclaiming the 30 rights that all human rights, all of these human rights were entitled to everyone. All right, so that's a brief history of how the rights, the universal rights came to be. Now, at this time, I see we're going to get started. I do not see my sister Latasha. So the next person on our list one moment, let me get my, here we go. The next moment we have to share the article, and that is we have Hilda Kayla. She is our ESWP board member and ambassador, and she's also a Tap Into You Peace partner. Hilda, I'd like for you to share your power of voice, your point of view on the article number 3, Right to Life.
Thank you very much, Anita, for that lovely introduction. And it's really good to be here today. As you said, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights came into being in 1948. So it's now 75 years later since it came into force. And I'm going to talk about Article 3, which is everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. There's also a slight subclause to that. It also says it is noted that the obligation to protect, respect, and ensure the right to life covers many other issues, including modern technologies such as the use of drones in armed conflict. So I believe, as many people do, that all life is sacred. We come from universal energy. We are sacred beings. Every cell in our body is divine. And when we actually inculcate that in our younger generations, in our children, they will not want to go to war. They will not want to fight when they're asked to do so, because we still have so many wars, in spite of it being 75 years since the Declaration of Human Rights. We have wars, as you know, in Ukraine and Russia. We have wars in Israel and Palestine. We have a genocide happening in Gaza. 80% of the dead are innocent civilians in Gaza, women and children. And this has actually always been the case when we have wars. When we believe that all life is sacred, when we teach this to our children and lead by example as adults, then they will not want to go to war. But unfortunately, we're still fighting. Not everybody. I think most people in the world want peace. They're sick and tired of wars. They want peace. I think they're being manipulated to fight for resources, and it's down to greed, to fight for oil, to fight for land, and all of those things. Once we put ourselves first and respect each other and treat each other as sacred, and human beings make that decision, they will not want to go to war for those that command them to do so, because they won't want to fight and put land and oil above other human beings. So when we talk also about liberty, everyone has the right to liberty, but there's still such a huge prison population, and it's growing. Maybe we need to think about different ways of justice. Maybe we need to think about forgiveness and restorative justice in our system, rather than building more prisons. this is just the thought I put out there. There are many nations that, I mean, New Zealand leads the way in restorative justice and has been shown to work, most of the time, 90% of cases, and people are able to move on with forgiveness. And lastly, when we're talking about security of person, again, it comes down to safety. And I think it's our biggest fear, isn't it, in this world? We're sort of worried about whether we're going to have a home, whether we're going to have an income, all of those kind of things. And I think if we can, again, teach our children and young people and families that there is enough in this world, that there is abundance in this world, and if the media have a part to play in that, if the media was more positive, I think we could change people's mindsets around so fast to understand that they are safe and they don't need to worry about security of people, of themselves and their loved ones. So that's all I wanted to really say about Article 3. We have come a long way since the UN Declaration, but there's still a long way to go, and we have to take agency and be leaders in our own lives. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
Thank you so much, Hilda. And I want to say, Hilda, our board member, ESWP board member, and Tapestry Peace Partner, she represents the United Kingdom, and I love that. First putting self first. Most people want peace, and I love that about your idea as far as prison. And yes, Switzerland is definitely a model that I think globally we can look at to see how proficient and that it's working. Their system is working. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, UK. Hilda from the UK. Thank you, sister. Okay, our next imminent speaker is Latasha Ramsey. Again, Tasha Ramsey Cypress. She is our USA Tap Into You Peace Partner. And again, Latasha she's the organizer of this conference. And Latasha is going to be speaking on Article 1, Article 2, and Article 7. All right, so thank you, Latasha. We look forward to hearing your power of voice.
Greetings, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. So first I'm going to start off on Article number 1, which is all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Article 1 provides that all people are born free and that as a result of common birth into the human family should treat one another in a spirit of brotherhood. That means that people everywhere, no matter where they are, who their parents are, or what religion they believe in, is equal. That means that Muslims born anywhere, people who follow Christianity living anywhere, are all equal. The first article has been referred to as the cornerstone of the Universal Declaration. During the drafting process, it occupied more debate and discussion time than any other article. And remember that a right is a freedom of some kind, something to which you are entitled by virtue of being human. No matter, again, where you were born or what kind of family you were born into. We are all born into this world and should be given the same opportunities and given a fair shot at a life well lived. Further, this means that we have the ability to make our own choices, whether that's choosing what college to go to, what career path we take, or who we choose as a partner to spend our life with. When you approach life with the right as described, it becomes pretty easy to see when the right of freedom and equality has been violated. It could be something as simple as refusing to hire someone for a job because of their religious beliefs or the wage gap between men and women. Even now, we still know that some women are not paid as much as men, even when working full-time and year-round. I did a little research, and on the average, women working full-time year-round are paid 83.7% of what men are paid. So violations of this right can also be more extreme, such as human trafficking, where a person is bought and sold as commodity and degraded to the value of an object rather than the value and worth of an individual and human being. And that kind of reminds me of what we teach our children, treat others how you want to be treated, and the golden rule, because we are all equal, and we should all be treated that same way. Now I'll talk a little bit about Article number 2. So Article number 2 is everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without any distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or under any other limitations of severity. Discrimination in all of its possible forms and expression is one of the most common forms of human rights violations and abuse. It affects millions of people every day, and it is one of the most difficult at times to recognize. Discrimination, which is often the result of prejudice people hold, makes people feel powerless. It makes them feel like they're not an active citizen. It restricts them from developing their skills, and in many situations, from accessing work, health services, education, or accommodation. Discrimination in all its possible forms and expressions is one of the most common forms of human rights that's violated, like I mentioned earlier, and it affects millions of people every day, every day. So I also think of the golden rule again. When we have children, we remind them that just because your friend doesn't look just like you, we might have different skin colors or they might have different religion, we still treat them the same. They're just as equal as we are. And the last article I'll speak on is article number 7. So this article was very interesting to me when I did the research. So the law is the same for everyone. It should be applied in the same way to all. All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. And this also, all that are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. It ensures that all laws and policies are applied equally and do not have any discriminatory effect. Public entities, as well as courts and tribunals, are required to treat all people equally when applying the law. It also requires that the laws themselves provide equal protection to everyone. One important value in American society is that everyone has equal justice under this law. Another important ideal is the rule of law. And the rule of law means that everyone must obey the law and no one is above the law. This means that the government and its leaders must also obey the law. So it makes me think of presidents. So, sometimes presidents have this high power and they feel like, well, I can do whatever I want to do. However, with the rule of law, they have to also obey the law, such as a citizen as myself. So I thought that was very interesting. And I'm glad to bring you all today Articles 1, Articles 2, and Article 7. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Latasha. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I so agree. We agreed that, everyone born free and equal, that's our fundamental right. And you notice everything goes back to the free and equal. And then that, what's going on now, ever since COVID, it may have been before, but now, Article number 2, discrimination, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. That is really, really a very outstanding topic that we're all discussing and reading about. And then your rule of law, I love that. The branches of government, all of this, the balances, the systems of balance. So thank you so much, beautiful sister. All right, our next, yes, our next beautiful sister, we have USA from the United States of America, Peace Partner. And this is my sister, Maria Santiago Valentin. Maria, she is going to be sharing with us, sharing her power of voice on Article 4 and Article number 5. All right, thank you, Maria. Please share your power of voice.
Let me unmute myself. I'm not ready. I prepared a PowerPoint for me to have some talking points. And what I try to do with this presentation is to make it very relatable of how we behave in our daily lives unconsciously, and we show these kind of behaviors, and also what's happening in worldwide. So let me start showing it. View, can I? No, a slideshow from beginning. Everybody sees it, right? Thank you, Dr. Anita, for inviting me to this conference. I'm going to be less than 8 minutes. Unless anybody has questions. So articles number 4 and number 5 were pretty hard. They're talk about slavery and torture. So number 4 is no one should be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade should be prohibited in all their forms. And we're not talking about slavery from a transatlantic slave. We're talking about slavery in 21st century and how it looks right now. And many of the examples that I found talk about the domestic workers, and immigrants that come to a nation to work and they become slaves, and they cannot, they're afraid to speak up because of afraid of deportation and retaliation. So domestic workers are one of the groups most vulnerable, and usually they're women, and those women have children. When a person is forced to work or pay off a debt when they don't want to, it's not voluntary that they have to work, they're forced to. We also have the human trafficking that is happening. These things are happening, and they become sexual slaves, many of them. And children, again, we see these things happening with the most vulnerable in the world, children and women. I also found that the abuse of fisher folk who supply seafood, and the fate under the so-called Islamic State of migrant women in brothels in Europe and elsewhere. And it happens in Europe not only from the Islamic world. There are women who migrate from Latin America to Europe who ends in those brothels, and they get beaten, they get abused, but they want to get the money to bring their families. That's usually the first thing that happened to them. They have their lack of protection. And then, okay, and the domestic workers. And this is a case study that I found on Article 4 of a girl in France, but this could happen in US, this could happen in Spain, this could happen in England, this could happen in any other country in Africa. And this girl she didn't have, in this case study, this domestic worker, it could happen in Miami. She was taken away her passport. She was a 15-year-old, she had no mom. So she had no way to show her identity to the authorities, and she was forced to work as a slave in that home without no pay, 7 days a week, taking care of children. But this is hypothetical. This is an example of what we have been seeing. And have you noticed who are the most impact in these situations? Women and children. We are the most vulnerable. At the end of this presentation, I talk about what we can do, and I put some choices of what we can do to at the individual and the collective level to address these concerns, these big problems that we have. Then I'm going to article number 5. No one should be subjected to torture or treat cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So let's start with our jobs. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying. This is happening internationally. This is a type of torture, and it comes from positions of power. There's an imbalance. This is not about a conflict. It's one person or one group having power over the other one. The other person hasn't done anything. They don't know what triggers their behavior, and there's always attacking that group. So there's no conflict here between two. It's just one, and that's the first characteristic, the imbalance of power. And usually a supervisor or boss has power over their employees. Unlike Hilda mentioned before, treatment in prisons and detention centers, in solitary confinement, denial of medical treatment are examples of torture or cruel or inhuman treatment in prisons. At the micro level, and this one I put the domestic violence. There's also an imbalance of power, and there's a lot of mental and cruel inhuman torture it could be one-on-one. And again, the man and the woman, so there's an imbalance of power there. And then I put an example of Michelle Bachelet. She was arrested in 1975 because she protested against Pinochet, and then later on she became the president of Chile. Also, I put here, I cannot see, but it's important. Victims can also be reached remotely via media. So this is a new way of torture. And it affects psychologically and mentally. Social media, emails, blackmailing can be caused through persistent online harassment that targets the victim. And we are not, ignorant that when the victim receives all these threats and they're in a vulnerable position, children or women, there's a suicide attempt or a suicide happens. And we have seen this a lot. So it impacts mental health. Online threats, accusations that are not true, blackmail, body shaming, and a combination of all of this. If you notice, all of this target goes into harassment and intimidation and bullying again. Then I put examples of mental torture, debilitation, food, water, and sleep deprivation. When you don't let somebody sleep, sensory deprivation, hooting, sensory assault, exposure to loud music, exposure to bright lights, disorientation, desperation, threats of death or violence to self or others, mock executions, witnessing torture, threats against family members. They put it, all of these examples, I got them from articles and also from UN reports. Degradation, verbal abuse, deliberate sexual, ethnic, or religious humiliation, overcrowded, contact with pets or excrement, manipulation with drugs, and there are other sexual and physical. This was not an easy one to talk and research because it's very, very degrading. It's the denial of our humanity at all, completely. We became dehumanized and animalized. What can we do at the collective level? No to bullying, harassment, and intimidation. Zero tolerance to that. And this, when I found this, and I said, okay, that reminds me, Dr. Anita, write a song, a poem, or create a game and share with your contacts about ways to heal. You can get involved with Healing and Justice organizations, NGO that are looking into healing the victims, okay? Rebuilding the life of survivors, families, and communities after torture and trauma. Help advocate for policy change in your communities at the local, and help advocate if you can influence to make changes in laws that are 100 years old, that need some type of amendment to be more human. That could be one of your contributions. Also, support women and mothers and children because they are the most vulnerable. And that one, number 2, support economic rights. If you notice, the people that are suffering torture, poverty, and domestic workers are in an imbalance of power. And if you notice, they come from poverty, for low income, very, very low income economic situation. So if we fight against poverty and advocate for economic empowerment, we remove these women and children and families from being in those vulnerable situations. And then join an NGO like Amnesty International, UN Watch, Global Rights, And then if someone lives in poverty, I forgot to read that they are vulnerable to host other inequalities like lack of access to health care, education, because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that they're even violating their rights because they don't know.
Maria, thank you. So I apologize. Maria,
Okay.
yeah, we're at this point here. Thank you so very much. I do want to say, so far I've done a lot of research on the human rights. I've taught Michelle, Latasha was in the class, and you guys are really, really opening up my eyes to different things. I never thought of torture, the harassment at the work. I knew bullying. I thought of bullying and intimate partner, but not in the context that you brought it in today, Maria. So I want to thank you guys. You guys are really, really bringing on some excellent points. How the Universal Declaration of Human Rights are not only just, it was back in 1948, but it applies today. Thank you so very much. Okay, look at, thank you, Elizabeth, taking pictures. Okay. All right. Our next beautiful speaker, we have Aklima Ali. She is our Trinidad and Tobago Tap Into You Peace Partner. And Aklima, she is here. She is going to be sharing her power of voice on articles number 6 and articles number 15. Thank you, beautiful sister. Please share your power of voice.
Thank you so much. So just give me a moment to pull up my PowerPoint. And here we are. So good day, everyone. I have the honor of speaking on Articles 6 and 15 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 6 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights affirms the right to recognition as a person before the law. So this morning I chose the format of a small poem as well as a brief description of what the article means to me. So for Article 6, in the court where fairness reigns, Article 6, its voice sustains. A testament to every soul's decree to be seen, acknowledged, and free. Recognition before the law it cries, a chorus lifting to the skies. Each person a tale, a vibrant hue, deserves acknowledgement, clear and true. No matter the race, the creed, the name, each life in the justice frame. Equal in rights, in justice's sight, standing tall in dignity's light. Before the law's impartial gaze, every being finds their place. No bias shall obscure the view, equality and justice born anew. From the humblest soul to the grandest stand, Article 6 extends its hand, ensuring all with unwavering might are seen, respected in justice's light. Let courts echo this solemn decree in every ruling fair and free, for in the realm of law's embrace lies the heart of human grace. Article 6 basically emphasizes that every individual is entitled to legal recognition and protection without discrimination. Everyone, regardless of their background, race, nationality, religion, gender, or any other status, is entitled to equal treatment and protection under the law. Each individual person has a legal personality. And this means if we are acknowledged as individuals, we all have rights and responsibilities within any legal system, any part of the world. Article 6 also recognizes our access to courts. Every individual has the right to access courts and legal remedies. This ensures that we are able to seek legal redress and have our cases heard in a fair and public hearing by an impartial tribunal. Article 6 also emphasizes the intrinsic link between legal recognition and human dignity. We recognize each person as an individual before the law, and therefore individuals are able to fully participate in society, to access services, and protect their fundamental rights. So for me, Article 6 is simply the fundamental principle that every person, regardless of background or status, is entitled to equal recognition, protection, and treatment under the law. Article 6 aims to ensure fairness, justice, and respect for the inherent dignity of every individual within legal systems worldwide. Now, as I move on to Article 15, it really had me thinking that we take this one for granted. Article 15 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights asserts the right to a nationality. In the realm where rights transcend, Article 15 is a beacon, a friend. It sings of a realm both just and fair, where souls are free without a snare. The right to a nationality it proclaims, a cherished link no one defames. Born free, not lost in limbo's grasp, belonging to a land, an enduring clasp. No exile, no forced statelessness, human dignity in its full finesse. No arbitrary theft of ties so dear. Article 15 whispers, hold them near. Inherent rights not to be denied, no matter the creed or nationwide. A homeland's embrace, a birthright true, safeguarded by the solemn view. Article 15, a chapter's plea, an ode to roots, identity's decree. In this human tapestry a vital thread, preserving heritage where spirits tread. Let nations heed this guiding light, embrace all souls their inherent right. For in the core of liberty's dance resides the essence of true chance. Now, Article 15 embraces the principle that every single individual has the right to belong to a country, to have a nationality, and not to be arbitrarily deprived of it. It protects everyone against statelessness, ensuring that each has a right to a legal identity and a specific connection to a nation. This article prevents any individual who might be left without a nationality. Being left without a nationality gives rise to significant limitations on if we can access basic rights and services, such as education, healthcare, employment, and the ability to participate in society. This article also safeguards against forced expulsion from anyone's country. Article 15 also protects refugees. Refugees often flee their home countries due to persecution, conflict, or human rights abuses. Their rights are protected so that they can claim a nationality, prevent them from being left stateless, and also ensure they have legal status and they are able to secure documentation and protection in the country they seek refuge in. Article 15 also recognizes indigenous communities. For indigenous communities, maintaining their cultural identity and connection to their ancestral lands is vital. Article 15 supports their right to preserve their unique identity and heritage by acknowledging their right to a nationality tied to their traditional territories. So in summary, Article 15 helps individuals acquire citizenship, ensuring they are recognized as lawful members of society, allowing them to participate fully and contribute to their communities. It is a crucial pillar in protecting individual rights to identity, belonging, and access to essential services regardless of ethnicity, race, religion, or any other characteristic. I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to speak on Articles 6 and 15. And my last slide is just giving acknowledgement to the beautiful images I have in my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aklima. Bless your heart. I love, oh my, well, of course, I love the poems. I mean, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And you know what, I like that too. You know, within the laws, human grace, if we can remember that, within the law, let's apply human grace. That is just so cool. And then that last part, the nationality, absolutely. It doesn't matter. We can choose our culture, our identity. That has nothing to do with our nationality, being a legal citizen within a country. So thank you so much, beautiful sister. All right, moving right along. Okay, so now we have our next beautiful sister from South Africa. She is our empowerment through spoken word poetry ambassador. She is also our board member, and she will be speaking on article number 9. Hanley Robertson Roberse. Now I want you to say your name for me because, okay, I want you to please share with us your power of voice.
Thank you, Dr. Anita. Yes, my name is Hanley Robertson, and I'm from South Africa. And it's my absolute honor today to speak about Article 9. Article 9 states that no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. And when I did some research about this, I found that in 2016, in the US alone, according to the Brenner Center for Justice, there were over 500,000 prisoners being held with any reason in America alone. That's 500,000 people in America. And often these are vulnerable people, like women and children, people, immigrants that often don't have the abilities to speak for themselves or even get legal help. Amnesty International cites this as a big problem for people that are unjustly arrested, detained, or exiled, that they don't have access to good legal representation. And if so many people in America alone are being detained or arrested or exiled without any reason, how many more worldwide? How many more women? How many more children? How many more fathers? How many more families are being broken because people are being arrested for no reason at all? So I would like to finish off with something I wrote around this. And I just called it one more daddy to go to jail, one more time without fail, one more arrest without reason, one more family being weakened, one more why and no answer, one more day I can't be a dancer, one more night surviving on scraps, one more unnecessary grab, one more family disowned, one more brother stoned, one more mommy worn with wear, one more angry swear, one more silent sigh, one more tear in my eye, one more wish to come true. Please, Daddy, come home too. And I would love to see that more care being taken for people being arrested, that we look at prejudice when we arrest people, that there are more programs, more education being put into place so that we take off the flaps from our eyes and that we see the people for what they are, humans with rights, to not being detained or exiled or arrested without reason.
Bless your heart, Hanley. That was absolutely beautiful. And I mean, the poetry in and of itself, and then, you know, thinking about the domino effect of what happens when someone is detained without cause or reason and the effect that it has on the family. You know, that's something that, you know, I didn't really give thought to, but that's a very powerful, that's a very powerful thought that needs to stay up in the forefront of our mind, the brokenness of family. So thank you. Thank you, Hamley. Thank you so much, beautiful sister. All right. Okay, so moving right along. Next, we have our beautiful sister, Elizabeth Castillo Esquerra. Now, Elizabeth is our Philippines uh, Empowerment Through Spoken Word ambassador, and she is going to be speaking on articles number 10 and articles number 11. All right, beautiful sister Elizabeth, please share your power of voice.
Good evening, good day to all, and it's my honor to be part of this first global conference. I'm going to talk about Article number 10 and 11. The first one is Article number 10, the right to a fair trial. So in a broad sense, due process is interpreted as the right to be treated fairly, efficiently, and effectively by the administration of justice. In reality, we often hear of people being imprisoned or being judged unfairly because of their social status. If, for example, because of poverty, they cannot afford to hire proper services of a lawyer or something. So they immediately get jailed or something without any due process. Okay. So the right to a free trial does not focus on a single issue. It consists of a complete set of rules and practices. The right to a fair trial is interpreted as the rules administered through courts of justice in accordance with established and sanctional legal principles and procedures. I do hope that in the future we get to help those who don't have the means to afford the services of a lawyer to be able to have a due process. That no matter what's your social status, whether you're poor or middle class or something, all should be fair in law. So the rules applicable to the administration of justice are wide and refer to inter alia, or what we call a fair and public hearing. The presumption of innocence and independence and impartiality of the tribunal. The importance of these rights is the protection of human rights is understood by the fact that the implementation of human rights depends on the proper administration of justice. So whenever a person's rights are interfered with, she or he can only defend himself or herself if she or she enjoys an effective resource to the process. Okay. So there are components of the rights to a fair trial. There should be independence. This is the most important component in the independence of the judiciary. We refer to inter alia, independence from the executive and the legislature. Impartiality, the judge must not have a personal interest in the case for a due process. So the importance of impartiality is of great importance. There must be impartiality in the objective sense, which means examine whether the judge offered procedural guarantees sufficient to exclude any legislature, doubt partiality, as well as subjective sense. Okay, and also competence. So the idea of competence has not been elaborated upon explicitly in international conventions or case law. So indirectly, however, Some important elements have been included in the case law of international supervisory bodies. Okay. The next article I'm going to discuss is the presumption of innocence. So this is the right of presumption of innocence. It requires the judges and juries refrain from prejudging in any case. It also applies to all other public officials. So this means that other public authorities, particularly the prosecutors and the police, should not make statements about the guilt or innocence of an accused person before the outcome of the trial. So we should not judge immediately a person just because he was accused by someone else or something. There should be a fair trial. So it goes hand in hand. Article 10 and 11. Okay. It also means that the authorities have a duty to prevent the news media or other powerful social groups from influencing the outcome of the case by pronouncing on its merits. So it should be in accordance with the presumption of innocence, the rules of evidence. There should be proper evidence and proof. Conduct a fair trial, and it must ensure that the prosecution bears the borderless proof throughout a trial. So I hope in the near future, those people who need assistance because of their social status can have due process at all times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Absolutely. You know, due process, having the opportunity to be afforded due process is a fundamental right. And you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with caste system, social status, economic status. That is our fundamental right as human beings to be able to go through the process within the judicial system. And I like that innocence, you know, the innocent before guilty. When you were sharing that, I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know, that would have to do some elimination of some major biases and prejudices. So that falls within that, does it? Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are awesome. All right. Our next beautiful sister, we get into the brothers. We come to the brothers, you guys. Our next beautiful sister is Aditi Devi. She is our, and share with me if you know, correct me if I misspoken, misspeaking. She is our Bhubaneswar City, India Empowerment Through Spoken Word Ambassador. And our sister Deepti, she is going to be speaking on articles number 12 and number 23. Beautiful sister, please share with us your power of good. Mercy, I'm on mute. Go into the unmute, your mute button, and try to change your settings. Elizabeth laughing at me. I'm trying to share how to do something. I'm on mute. Where's she go? Where you at? Okay, there
Is
you
it
go.
okay?
There you are.
Is it okay now?
You're wonderful.
Okay. Global Namaste from India. I'm Dipti Devi from Bhubaneswar, Orissa, India. I would like to start by thanking Dr. Anita for having me here today at this Global Conference of Human Rights. A big hello to all the guest speakers from all over the world. Article 12 says, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, correspondence, attacks upon his honor and reputation. It's part of human nature to randomly interfere in other people's personal problems, which causes more harm than any good. Too much unwanted advice or insinuations may be actually harmful to a person's reputation and honor. Arbitrary interference is maximum in interception of the internet and the web world. This is where every person should be protected, as they have a right to their privacy for their personal data and information. So everyone enjoys a safe environment in the cyber world and feels secure that their information and data is safe and secure. If there is arbitrary interference in this aspect, it is a violation to human rights. Article 23, subclause 1. Everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protect against unemployment. Maximum number of jobs are outsourced to different countries. Why? For cheaper labor. If this is curtailed and anyone within the concerned country is given these jobs, instead of companies outsourcing them, this would help unemployment to a large extent. Subclause 2, everyone without discrimination has a right to equal pay for equal work. In companies all over the world, there is racial and color discrimination, which affects a lot of people, though it is not visibly open. It does exist, and people do get subjected to these situations. Subclause 3, yes, just and favorable remuneration worthy of human dignity. I would like to put it through here that a person works very, very hard throughout his life. Don't we agree here that he does deserve a dignified existence with a dignified wage so that he can walk with dignity in society and does not feel less privileged than others? Subclause 4, everyone has the right to form and join trade unions for the protection of his interests. Before joining or forming trade unions for the protection of his interests, the proper knowledge and correct information is necessary, and they should have the knowledge and information about it before joining. And also, they can form unions without any violence or arms. I conclude here, Honorable Dr. Anita, and all the guest speakers with a global namaste from India. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deidre. Thank you so very much. Absolutely. You know, I do unemployment hearings with claimants. And, you know, as far as like the right to work, you know, at least in the United States, every employment setting has these guidelines as far as employment rights, so that workers are protected in their right to work, and as you say, and to receive equitable and proper wages. And then also thank you for sharing as far as that interference with social media. That reminded me with what Sister Maria had indicated, like with the issues with our social media and the World Wide Web. So I want to thank you so much for your power of voice. Bless you. All right, so now moving right along, what I'm going to do, we have MD Abdul Hassan. He is our Bangladesh ESWP ambassador, and he was going to speak on Articles 13 and 14, and he sent me his statement, and I'm going to read it. Now, what I'd like for someone to do, because I'm tying too, so I'd like for someone who can tie, let me know that he has two articles and I have within 8 minutes maximum to do it. So who'll time me to say, okay, wrap it up? Who'll do that for me? Will anybody do timing for me? Okay, Latasha, thank you. Okay, all right. Okay, so here's his 13 and 14. So MD Abdul Hassan says from Bangladesh, ESWP partner, fostering, helping, and saying that the international humanity region, Asia region, is working hard to promote coexistence, nurturing, respect, tolerance, discrimination, religious violence, racism, etc. It is everyone's job to defend, protect, help, and speak up for humanity. International Commission on Human Rights, Asia region, has been working hard to spread messages of coexistence, love, respect for each other, tolerance, and stand against abuse, discrimination, religious practices, violence, political violence, racism. In some cases, we human rights activists are facing threats and threatening to make us disappear. We humbly request international human rights organizations to come forward to stand by our human rights workers, and that is what was his number 13, and the human rights, that is freedom of movement. So that was fostering the freedom of movement to be a human rights activist. And then his next one is article number 14, and that is the right to asylum. Celebrate the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights on December 10th, 2023. In preparation for this milestone, the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights Initiative revives the spirit, vitality, and momentum of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and renews the global consensus around it. We annually celebrate Human Rights Day on 10 December to commemorate the day on which the United Nations General Assembly adopted the United Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. The Declaration consists of a preamble and 30 articles that set out a broad range of human rights and fundamental freedoms to which we are all entitled. It exists wherever we are in the world. The Declaration guarantees our rights without any discrimination based on nationality, place of residence, sex, national or ethnic origin, religion, language, or any other status. The Declaration was drafted by representatives of all regions and legal traditions. Over the years, it has been accepted as a contract between governments and their people. Almost all countries accepted it. Since then, it has formed the basis of an expanded system aimed at protecting human rights, which today also focuses on vulnerable groups such as persons with disabilities, indigenous peoples, and migrants. The Declaration, which is available in more than 500 languages, is the most widely translated document in the world, honoring for all. And we thank MD Abu Hassan for sharing his power of voice. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Latasha. Okay, so now moving right along, we have Kamal Banjara. Now, he's doing Article 16, and what he did is sent me his statement on Article 16, and I wasn't able to put Hassan's information on PowerPoint because I didn't get it until this morning, but I was able to do this with Kamal. So I'd like to share with you his statement. And Kamal is our, I'm getting everything right here. Let me get this together. He is our, hold on please. He is our Nepal Tap Into You peace partner, and he was speaking on Article 16, Article number 16. All right, so let me, okay, so he says, I'm Kamal Prasad Bajara from Nepal, and I'm currently working as a human rights activist. I have been working as a human rights activist in the sectors in Nepal since a long time. Grateful to get an opportunity to speak from Nepal for ESWP. Today I'm here to discuss the caste and religion inequality and marriage in the context of Nepal. The Nepal Constitution states that all people have equal rights after the assigned age group by the law of Nepal. However, it has not been implemented. There has been many incidents about, and I apologize, my screen is cutting this off. There has been many incidents, I'm going to say, surrounding marriage and gender-based violence. The Constitution of Nepal also states that the adult age group can marry each other as if they agree to become in this marriage. All right, I'm ad-libbing because I can't see the last part. There is still a tradition about child marriage. I myself am a victim of child marriage. I'm running in 42 now, but I got married at the age of 14 due to religious tradition and family pressure. In Nepal, there is no provision for marriage among the transgender. Recently, due to many initiatives and actions taken by different NGOs with Federation of Nepal, it has been stated in the book that transgender can marry and register legally. In cases of certain types of disease, the law of Nepal doesn't give permission for a valid and legal marriage, as it may be part of betrayal in a healthy people environment, man or woman. In case of transgender law, there is some harsh or inappropriate word to indicate transgender that should be immediately changed. There are some cases that the law does not agree for marriage if a person is infected from leprosy or is mentally ill or is ill from epilepsy. There is also a provision for taking legal action against the pregnancy before marriage, and the marriage will be accepted if one of the women are being restricted by law of Nepal if she is being punished for illegal cases or under the law of Nepal or under the legal system of Nepal. It is stated that if a single male or female gives birth before valid marriage, it is still considered as a legal marriage according to the Law Act of Nepal. There are some cases in religious and caste system aspects which government should take seriously and change. I wish and pray to God for maintaining peace and harmony among all the Nepali people. Thanks and regards to all. So I want to thank our Nepali brother, Tap Into You Peace Partner, for his power of voice. Thank you, Latasha. Okay, our next, moving right along, we have our beautiful sister, and this is Reverend Jocelyn Ferrer-Pierre. And our beautiful sister, Reverend Jocelyn, she is our Grenada Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry Ambassador. She is also on the board, and she is also a Tap Into You Peace Partner. And our sister is speaking on articles number 18 and number 20. So Reverend Jocelyn, please share your power of voice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anita. Thanks to the members of the board, the other members of the board, and my fellow colleagues and partners. As Dr. Anita said, I'm sharing on Article 18 and 20. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religious belief, and he can either do that alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or beliefs in teaching, practices, worship, and observation. And Article 20, everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. No one may be compelled to belong to an association. And I'm going to just share a bit of my simple experiences, and in us culminating 2023, I thought what fitting is to share some of the things that I've seen in relationship to that and how grateful I am, and I'm sure my fellow colleagues will be with me as I reflect a wee bit on this particular human rights. And after I reflect, it brought me to a beautiful project, wonderful project that myself and 14 other writers from around the world came together to do. And that to me brought together a wonderful explanation as to how you can truly bring about that right. Now, we all from different countries, different religious background, and we came together and we did this with intention, of course, to bring a school to another nation. And not only that, but in going through that project, there wasn't one time I can recall where we bounced each other off on religion and, oh, you may have been Catholic or whatever the religion is. And to me, that was a wonderful way of how we as human beings can be with each other and exercise that right, allowing us. In fact, I pulled from the book and I want to share with you, because just to share that when we do this, we allow people that humanness. We allow our love to be shown. And so in our book, The Divine Feminine, My Relationship with God, 14 of us writers, I pull out a few, and they were saying, and again, this is, some of us may have had connection with religious, but we came from different religious background. And so you had folks sharing, my relationship with God, he's my friend. We are always together. There is no separation. Sacred, sweet, and solid, another writer said. Then we had another beautiful writer, closer than the breath I breathe, there is God. Cozy, comforting, and intimate. And as I go through this, I say, why would you want to deny someone of that sort of feeling? Peace. I am calm and serene in his presence. Faith. I am trusting and walking with Jesus. Protection. He has always protected me through my life's journey. Close, trusting, and challenging. So my heart is filled with gratitude because I see this is working, and how we as individuals in our own way can live this out and be a beacon of light for others by the things we do, the projects we get involved in, and so on. Even in terms, as I look back at my experiences over the years of my lifetime, I've been through different religious sects. I have practiced, and at no point did I get that interruption. Unfortunately, there are many who did not have this chance. And so by us giving voice to this, by us sharing through books, through our conversation, before I sat down, I shared, I'm home now with my parents and family. And I said, good. So I'm gonna quickly, one of the things I wanted to quickly share is where you can get added information in regards to universal rights. And on our Tap Into You site, Dr. Anita has a marvelous program. Now, I haven't done the program as yet, but I know Dr. Anita is solid, universal right. So this is one area you can tap into to do that. And of course, you have the United Nations Office of High Commission and UN Human Rights Committee. So I want to thank Dr. Anita and everyone, Dr. Letitia, for putting together this beautiful program and giving each of us the opportunity to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jocelyn. What a creative way to blend freedom of belief and religion and assembly. Bless your heart. That is the book, Dr. Latasha, Maria, and Reverend Jocelyn that we were part of in building the school. There was a fundraiser, and the whole idea was generated by our sister Maria, that she thought of that. So I just want to thank you. And that's just blending that. I'm just, the only thing I can just say, how creative, how genius that was. That was absolutely genius to me. Okay, to bring in my freedom of my religion and then my assembly. That, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, and also for the shout out. Bless you. Okay, our next beautiful sister here is Kamal Gupta, and she is both our India Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry ambassador and also our Tap into You Peace partner. So now, Kamal, I want you to please share with us your power of voice, speaking on articles number 24 and 27. Thank you, sister.
Yes, thank you, Dr. for inviting me here today, and very happy to be here. Thank you for joining me today as we delve into the profound principles enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Today, our focus is on two pivotal articles that underscore the importance of and cultural participation as fundamental rights, Article 24 and 27. So Article 24 states, everyone has a right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitation of working hours and periodic holidays with pay. In 19 crisp words, Article 24 presents the flip side of the right to work, articulated in Article 23, the right not to be overworked. And on a lighter side, it should not be taken as the right to laziness. If we can just lighten the atmosphere a bit. So as I go on, it recognizes the intrinsic value of rest and leisure in fostering a healthy life. I would like to state that seeing into hybrid. Am I there or not? I don't know.
Kind of going in and
You can
out.
see me? All right. Shall I continue?
There we go. Yes, please continue.
Right. So as I was stating, especially in these times when we just come out of a pandemic and our work-life balance, our mental health is foremost. So this article is very important right now. We have to find a balance between the right working hours, the right pay, the right to dignity while we are working. It's most important. And this then translates into physical and mental well-being, which is most important. Again, I would like to say that, again, focusing on the mental health thing, decent work, rightful with good pay and equitable hours is very important for mental health, especially in these days. So this article kind of amplifies the whole spirit of in which it was written. And with increasing layoffs and kind of turbulence in the work environment, so we need to highlight more, since our livelihood, Article 27, this focuses on the right to participate in the cultural community and the arts and to share in scientific advancement of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, and artist production of which he is the author. As a creator myself, I think this is a very important article because we are creators in every sense. Even if we are businesswomen, even if we are any field, we are creators. So the right to our work, the protection of our copyright, everything, and fostering conducive environment for continuous innovation and artistic expression is very important. And one we should not forget is that culture is who we are and what shapes our identity as nations of the world. Placing culture at the heart of development policies is the only way to ensure a human-centered, inclusive, and equitable development. Now, there are a few examples. Like there's this poetry pharmacy in United Nations, which uses poetry as healing for people who come to them with problems. And there's a sidewalk poetry project in Cambridge, where the whole gets and uses poetry to get together and share their thoughts. And it is painted onto pavements. There's an annual event there. So what I would like to say is that these are cultural instances which are healing, promote community collaboration, give artistic license and freedom, and are a means of proactive ventures that solidify the cultural ethos of a country from the community. There's a very interesting trivia that I got, a very important element, that there were two Indian women who were very key integral parts of the drafting committee. One was Hansa Mehta. She was a female delegate to the United Nations, and she was a staunch fighter of women's rights in India and abroad. And the other Indian delegate was Lakshmi Menon, who was very integral in opposing the concept of that sought to deny human rights to people in countries. So another interesting fact is that Hansa Mehta is credited with changing the phrase, all men are born free and equal, to all beings are born free and equal, in Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And as I end, I would like to say, the principles outlined in Article 24 and 27 are not merely legal provisions, but are the keystones of a society that values, as well as the right to participate in cultural and scientific life. We lay the foundation of a world where individuals can thrive, contribute, and find fulfillment. And we are to strive towards a future where these principles are not only celebrated, but also safeguard for a proper safeguard for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Come on, absolutely. You know, it is imperative that we take in consideration, you know, that rest and leisure, which is a work-life balance. Sometimes we take that as a luxury, but it's actually a necessity. And thank you for sharing that with us to make us mindful that no, this is something that we need, that is also a fundamental necessity in order to maintain our peace of mind and health. And of course, as an artist, would you say you not only have the rights to be able to artistically express, but you say also to protect those expressions. So thank you so much. Thank you, beautiful sister. All right, moving right along, we are coming with our Vice President of Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry, Tap Into You, a Help to Heal Foundation. And she's also a Tap Into You Peace Partner. She is from USA. And we are now going to be hearing from our Vice President, Ms. VP, Madam VP. speaking on articles number 25 and number 26. Michelle, thank you so much. Please share with us your power of voice.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nita, and hello and greetings to all the amazing speakers that are on here today. I'm gaining so much insight. So today, I'd like to shed light on two vital articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Articles 25 and 26. These articles serve as beacons of hope, reminding us of the fundamental rights that every individual deserves. Article 25 declares the right to adequate standard of living. It recognizes that every person should have access to basic necessities such as food, shelter, water, and healthcare. These are not luxuries. They are essential for human dignity. Yet we are well aware of the harsh realities faced by many around the world. Poverty and inequality denies countless individuals their rights to a decent life. It is our collective responsibility to address these challenges, to uplift those in need, and to advocate for policies that prioritize the well-being of all. Now, turning to Article 26, we encounter the right to education. Education is a powerful tool that empowers individuals and it transforms societies. It is through education that opportunities are unlocked, priorities are recognized, and a brighter future is built. Education is not a privilege for a select few. It is a human right that should be accessible to everyone, regardless of our circumstances. We must confront the barriers that hinder education, such as lack of access and discrimination, especially to marginalized groups. By ensuring equal access to quality education, we pave the way for progress, we offer social cohesion, and the realization of other human rights. Article 25 and 26 are linked. A decent standard of living and education are intertwined, both reinforcing the other's impact. Education helps break the cycle of poverty. By equipping individuals with the knowledge and skills to uplift themselves and their community, it enables people to claim other rights, to participate fully in society, and to contribute meaningfully to their nations. We cannot afford to overlook the significance of Article 25 and 26. We must recognize that upholding these rights is not only a moral imperative, but it's also a catalyst for positive change. Let us support organizations and initiatives that strive to make these rights a reality for all. Let us embrace the spirit of Article 25 and 26 and commit ourselves to building a world where every person can enjoy an adequate standard of living and have equal access to a quality education. Together, we can create a future where human rights are not just words on a paper, but a lived experience for us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Absolutely. I so agree with you that both adequate standard of living and education is so linked together. You know, as you were sharing your point of view, I was thinking, you know, all of the rights from 1 to 29, all of those rights, and we know there's 30, but 1 to 29, it's nothing if our 25 is not maintained. That's like that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where that's the basic human right. If we don't have adequate food, shelter, or clothing, we're not going to be thinking about anything else as far as human rights, dignity, laws, protection, peace, and love, because we are in that survivor mode. And then the education comes with those so that we can help us get out where we can have adequate food, shelter, and peace. So absolutely, I so agree. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, moving right along, our next beautiful sister, our next sister here, we have Professor Dr. Shapresa Delgay. I hope I said the last name because I always calling her, Queen or Professor Dr. Shapressa. So, okay. And Professor Dr. Shapressa is our Albania ESWP ambassador. She is also our Tap Into You Peace partner. And our sister here is coming on to share her power of voice on article number 28. So, all right, so Professor Dr. Shapressa, please share with us your power of voice.
Thank you so much. And I would like to say hello to everyone in all the corners of the world for, everything that every one of you just provided us with, a brilliant aura and insights on how to use and how to implement the Declaration of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about Article 28. So let me just share, this, where is the sharing stuff now? Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so this is, what I'm talking about. And this article is about that everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which everyone is going to be free and to be highly evaluated by the society by any kind of belief insights that might be in any kind of our countries. So we see that the whole world nowadays is going, I guess, in a riot, and there are too many problems and too many disputes among nations and wars and stuff. And this happens, I think, because of the crazy minds of the leadership in the world, and not, because people are people and they want to live in peace and they have nothing with one another. And imagine, being here together in this beautiful family that I call it. We are people coming from different places of the world with different beliefs and different ideas, perhaps, but we respect. So what is in the core of our family friendship is that we respect one another, and also our friendship is based on peace, on love, and to deal away with chaos and unjust and violence and a free society, we should advocate, freedom. We should advocate for peace and for love in our schools first, and then in our families, in our schools, and then in our workplace as well. So why is the world now in chaos? And we know that there are too many issues that the world is in chaos. And we see that there is a kind of, the people have lost connectivity with one another, especially after the COVID-19, but even before. So it's not only that this happened during these 2 or 3 last years. People have become, people in power have become very greedy. And that's why, they've become a little bit jealous of one another, and they create all these kinds of disability in the world by bringing wars, by bringing misunderstandings, by bringing disruptive thoughts and tools for a disruptive world as well. And also, they are not sitting to make the right decision for the community, for the other countries as well, because we are people belonging to one God, and that's why we should protect one another in the same way. So I also like to quote one of the best quotes by Bruno Marion in 2022. We are the first generation of human beings who may leave to future generations and knowingly a planet in a worse condition and who will not ensure their survival because of our own actions. And this is to be highlighted very well. And I mean, very, very cautiously by every one of us as educators, but also entrepreneurs, or might be, I mean, in any kind of job that we are doing. So we should think more of the people rather than on our wealth. Should we accept now collapse, or we should fight for, we should fight for freedom. So it is, we need to redefine standards. We should act now. So it's no minute late. Everyone, we all should come together to act in order to have positive impact on our lives and to live together in a peaceful life. But also I have, I mean, I'm not quite sure if it's going to work, but let's try it if it's going to work. I mean, a song. Yes, this is a brilliant song by Michael Jackson talking about peace among children. So let's listen to that, please. Not all of that, but part of that.
There's no volume, Professor Doctor. There's no volume. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay, there's no volume. I don't think she hears me. And we have 50 seconds left.
Yes, so this is an echo for every one of us to think of the young generation. So children and everyone, elder people, everyone needs to live in a peaceful world. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Shapresti. I wish there was volume because I love Michael Jackson. He was born on my birthday. Anyway, I love everything that he does, and I know that was a profound message. Your message was profound. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. You know, if we come to just like what Hilda, her power of voice earlier, when she said most of us want peace. And you know, we get to the point where we reverence and respect ourselves and each other, like you said, Professor Doctor, you know, we can maintain this free and fair world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, you've learned so much today. Me too, Hilda. All right, so our next speaker here, I normally say beautiful, but I'm not going to do it since we're on Facebook Live and recording. So I'm going to say our next speakers are magnificent. To be beautiful, it has no gender. So our next speaker is our magnificent brother. He is Professor Antonio A. Solomon Jr. And Professor Antonio Solomon Jr. is our Davao City, Davao del Sur, Philippines Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry Ambassador. All right, so Professor Antonio Solomon Jr. Let me say that correctly. Welcome, Tanya. So, Professor, please share with us your power of voice, and we know that you will be speaking on article number 19. Thank you, sir.
All right. So hello once again, and I hope that everyone could really hear me loud and clear. Right. So thank you so much also to Dr. Anita for inviting me here. And also, yeah, I'm representing the Philippines, specifically Davao City. And I am closely working in college or higher education. And now my task is to discuss about Article 19. And since I am working closely with my passion and hard work when it comes to journalism, Article 19 really fits to me. Now, today I stand before you to delve into the essence of human rights, universal concept that transcend brothers and speak to the core of our shared humanity. So the Declaration of Human Rights stand as a testament of our collective commitment, fostering a world characterized by dignity, equality, as well as freedom. So, with this profound document, such as Article 19, yes, it is a beacon, proclaiming that everyone possesses the right to freedom of opinion and expression. Now, let us bring us the crucial article closer to our immediate community. So, since I am working in RMC, or the Rizal Memorial Colleges Incorporated, and working closely into journalism team as their advisor, it is a tapestry of our academic life that journalism architects of free expression, embodying the principle enshrined in Article 19. And our journalism team serve as the custodian of vibrant intellectual exchange, playing an integral role in upholding the principle of human rights within our academic haven. So through this work of ethics, we echo sentiments that every voice deserves to be heard. And that is really related to Article 19. All right. So I think there is someone. Okay, so it's okay now. So thank you so much. Uh, all right, for turning mute the microphone. Now let me just continue to my sharing. Now, working into an area wherein transparency and accountability and truth contributes immensely, fostering a community where the principle of human rights aren't just words on a paper but live in realities. In the integrate dance of ideas and perspective of journalism team, it is actually emerged as a torch bearers of democratic values embedded in Article 19. They navigate the complex landscape of information dissemination, ensuring that our community is well informed and empowered. By facilitating free flow of ideas, they become architects of vibrant intellectual ecosystem, enriching our academic journey. Beyond the confines of our institution, RMC, our journalism team extends the reach of Article 19, and they champion the right to express opinion without interference. In this regards, Article 19 serve as a guiding light, not just only a journalism team, but also from the rest of the country. We can stand as a living embodiment of the principle it advocates, ensuring within our academic realm, freedom of expression is just not right, but also we have to live it in reality. In conclusion, as we reflect on the profound ideas encapsulated in Article 19, let us commend that invaluable role played by our journalists, not just only the journalists here in the Philippines, but also in your country, played a significant role. They're the one who give us knowledge, information, practical experiences that aspires to the others. Me, myself, even if I am tagged as the youngest professor in our institution, I always do believe that no matter how old or young you are, our role as an educator is to inspire and to cater the needs of our students. That would be all, and badayao to everyone, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Professor. And I have to say, I love that. I have wrote it down. What is that? Of the our opinion is the tapestry of our life. That is very profound, and I really resonated with that. And absolutely, what did you say? The architect, journalism and the opinion is the intellectual architect of our what did you say after that? Intellectual architect of our growth or some of our journey. Some so thank you so much for that. You and Professor Dr. Shapressa, because Professor Dr. Shapressa is an excellent one of those excellent stellar educators. So you guys might want to connect. Yeah, because you reminded what you were saying when you started talking about the education. I immediately thought of our sister Professor Dr. Shapressa. All right, so next we have our next brother here who, and bless your heart, just so patiently waiting and everything. I appreciate you, author Shahid Abbas. Author Shahid is our Tandianwala Faisalabad, I hope I didn't mess it up, Pakistan Empowerment Through Spoken Word Ambassador. So author Shahid Abbas, please, our magnificent brother, share with us your power of voice. And he's going to be speaking on Articles 29 and Articles 30. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Anita for such a huge chance on such a great platform. Now I'm going to discuss the Article 29 of the UHR is about the balance between rights and duties as well as limitation of rights. Here are some key points. Duty to the community. The article states that everyone has duty to the community, which is essential for the free and full development of one's personality. This implies that human rights are not only individual but also social and collective. For example, one has duty to respect rights of others, to participate in democratic processes, to pay taxes, to protect the environment. Limitation of rights. The article also states that the exercise of rights and freedom is subject to certain limitations which are determined law and aim to source the recognition and respect of the rights of others as well as the morality, public order, general welfare, and the democratic society. This means that human rights are not absolute. They can be restricted for the legitimate reasons, such as national security, public health, or the prevention of crime. However, such limitation must be proportionate, necessary, and non-discriminatory. For example, the right to freedom of expression can be limited to prevent hate speech, defamation, and incitement of violence. No destruction of rights. The article also states that no government or group or individual should act in a way that would destroy the rights and freedom of UDHR. This means that our human rights are inviolable.
Let's see, I think you're freezing.
And they cannot be abolished, or no one has, and to deprive them of their basic dignity and equality. As we are examining in current condition is the half population of children and they are being killed. And I'm surprised the condition which is happening across the universe.
Okay. Author Shahid, try.
So let's talk about the Article 13.
Try taking your camera off because you're going in and out. Sometimes when you take your camera off, that kind of stops the freezing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, continue.
So can I start? Of human rights about the inviolability of the rights. Here are some key points. Freedom from interference. The articles has been called limits on tyrants. It gives all of us the rights in all, including the government, can interfere with our human rights without legitimate reason. For example, government cannot censor our speech, invade our privacy, or discriminate against us unless it's necessary.
Okay. All right, we're freezing here.
And the protection trust. The article also stressed that
Okay, yeah, we're getting a lot of freezing, Author Shahid.
we may not exercise the rights and convictions of.
Yeah, I think if he had turned his camera off, sometimes when you turn your camera off, that unfreezes. Okay. Okay. Can you just turn your camera off and not turn it back on, and let's see if that
Purpose of the United Nations.
Okay.
So rights and freedom of.
Okay, we're freezing, so we're not able to. We got some. Where did he go? Okay, he went out and then coming back. Okay, we'll give him a minute because he's our final one, with the exception. I'm gonna go through. The rest of the articles: 8, 17, 21, and 22. All right, let's see if he comes. Oh, there he is. Okay, you back? Where did he? I thought I just saw him. Okay, we're going to move along. So when he comes back, once I'm done, then if he's okay. Okay, you're on mute. Okay, so we heard bless your heart. Thank you. Yep, we heard article, where are we at? We heard article 29. I think you were going on to 30. Are you frozen? Were you going on to 30? Okay. It's frozen. Okay.
Article
So we're going to move right along. So if you, let's see, if you can mute yours, Shahid, I'm gonna finish the rest of the articles, and then we're gonna come back to you to see if the audio is better. Okay. Okay. All right. So just quickly, you guys. Okay, summing this up, I want to thank you so much. Boy, you guys are just excellent. I've learned so much. So I want to go right into these articles. The articles that I'm going to be speaking on is 8, the right to remedy; 17, the right to own property; Article 21, the right to democracy; and the Article 22, the right to Social Security. Okay, so the right to remedy, basically what that means is that we have a right to receive some type of resolution. Now, that could be in the court of law, whether I am a plaintiff against the defendant, whether I'm in criminal law, a plaintiff against the defendant, or whether I'm in administrative law, if I am a respondent going against a claimant. Okay. So, or even a claimant that may be going against an employer. So a right to remedy just means, okay, I am seeking resolution for something, whether monetarily, restitution, whether it's property. But then there's another thing as far as it's 5 to 11. So you guys keep track of my thing. I want to do it in 5 minutes. Okay, so with that, also with the right to remedy is a personal right to remedy. Like as far as me, I'm a mature woman. I am not a senior citizen. My right to remedy is when people say, oh, okay, are you a senior? I say, no, I'm not a senior. I am a seasoned adult, but I'm not a senior. That I am remedying my own right to say, no, this is how you're going to classify me. So right to remedy just means it's a personal, it could be a personal or a professional, but all you're doing is saying, I have a right to have something resolved the way I see that I want it to be resolved. And it could be in and out of the courtroom. The right to own property means that everybody, we all have a right to own things. Now, what I thought about is stepping into is just something to think about. What about eminent domain? Do I have a right to keep something if the government comes and say, hey, I'm gonna take your stuff? Where is my right to own that property? Because now you're coming into eminent domain, and eminent domain is supposed to be this law where the government can seize your type of property. So with as far as your right to property, it's one of those, we need to know what our rights are. What is the level of my right to be able to own something? 9/10 of a law. Say if I take Elizabeth's radio because I'm in possession of it, does that mean that it is my right? I have the property. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Does that mean I can keep her property because I'm in possession of it? Those are just things to think about as far as the right to own property. Number 21 is the right to democracy. We have a right to participate in any type of government that we are nationalities, that we are legal citizens within the lay of that land. We have a right to express our voice with the government. What is the most prominent, what is the most powerful way to exercise, to express our voice? The power of voice, point of view, is to vote. That is the most powerful way to exercise our right in democracy. The right to Social Security. I thought Social Security meant that, okay, once you reach a certain age, you're entitled to the taxes that you put into it if the employer paid into that fund, that federal fund. The right to Social Security means we have a right to medicine if we need that medicine. Right to Social Security means that if I need help, unemployment, if I need unemployment, it's not a right. Unemployment is not a right, it's a privilege, but I have a right to seek after it. There we go with that remedy. I have a right to go after something that I feel that was unjustly caused. I lost my job through no fault of my own. The right to Social Security means, okay, if I have, Department of Social Services, food stamps, different things like that. So the right to Social Security is not for us matured, seasoned adults who work 30 and plus years, and then at some point, which although it's beautiful because I'm loving mine, when you get to that point, then you get that, you get that reward, if you will, or not even a reward. You say, hey, I worked for it, I earned this. But Social Security. Okay, can you hear me now? Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so did you guys hear me? Not a long time? It just, okay, thank you. Okay, so wrapping it up, the right to Social Security is not an age thing, it's not a gender thing. All it is it's a right to say, hey, when we need support, we have a right to obtain and to apply for that support, and that includes unemployment. That includes wage and hour. If I'm not getting my wages, well, that's a remedy thing. That includes the court. That includes not the court. That includes our medical care. That includes our shelter care. Number 25, adequate standard of living. So those are the articles 8, 17, 21, and 22. I hope I did it within 5 minutes. All right. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, guys. Okay. So now, Author Shahid, we have like 3 more minutes. Are you able to sum up? Are you able to finish up on your Article 30? You're frozen again? Okay.
Yes, of course. So can I start?
Yes, Article 30. Yes, sir. You got 3 minutes. Okay.
In truth, Article 13 can be example. It can be evoked to challenge law or policies that infringe on human rights, to hold governments accountable for human rights abuses, or to advocate for the protection and promotion of human rights in various contexts, such as in the areas of criminal justice, immigration, healthcare, and education. Thank you so much for such a great
Thank you so much. I'm
John.
so glad you were able to share with us your power of voice. Bless your heart. Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you. You guys are amazing. You're awesome. I love you. And now let me give my wait, hold on. Let me do my reaction. I got to do it with everybody. Okay. So now as we close out, our organizer, Dr. Latasha, close us out, and then we can go on and be on about our day.
All right. Again, I want to echo what Dr. Nita said. Thank you, everyone, for this amazing event. And in closing, the 30 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights define our fundamental rights and our freedom: dignity, liberty, equality, the right to life, and prohibition of slavery, individual rights in society, and spiritual, political, economic, and cultural freedom. We have yet to live those ideas to the fullest, from an adequate access to quality education, which should be directed to the full development of the human personality, to the human trafficking crisis. The world still falls short of turning these standards into reality. But by educating more people, like what we're doing today with this amazing conference, about the human rights standards laid out in the UDHR, individuals and businesses can benefit. There was a research that I did. It said that how do we drive these change? So as of 2022, the research said that at least 4 in 10 people globally admitted that they knew little to nothing about rights afforded to them at birth. So the first step as community leaders, advocates, humanitarians is to clearly understand who is responsible for ensuring human rights are known and protected. The short answer is each of us. It's all of us. It's all of our responsibility, because we all contribute to the global goal of human dignity. It is vital, therefore, that people everywhere should strive to understand what human rights are. And I'm going to just briefly share 10 examples of how to promote human rights. Number 1, research human rights issues. Number 2, donate to good organizations. Number 3, change your shopping habits. Number 4, connect to human rights movements. Number 5, vote in every election. Number 6, put pressure on those responsible for upholding human rights. Number 7, protest inequalities. Number 8, support mothers and parents. Number 9, take action when you see discrimination. And number 10, support economic rights. So thank you all for today. I've learned so much, and thank you for joining us for this Universal Declaration of Human Rights Global Conference. Everyone was amazing. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Latasha. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to add a number 11. If you want to learn and remember your Universal Declaration of Human Rights, please, I invite you to visit www.anitacpowell.org. I have a class lecture on there that covers all Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I just want to thank you guys. You are awesome. Those in the audience, those who are with us, your physical presence with us today, God bless you. We are thankful and grateful for you. Those who watch the replay, God bless you. We are grateful and thankful for you. All right. Thank you, Dr. Latasha. Thank you all, my beautiful brothers and sisters. And I love you. I love you all. Mwah. See you later. Bye-bye.